A blessed and a wonderful good evening to one and all. I'm here going to do a video of St. Mark's Church, which is at College Savannah in St. John. This way will take you back to Concept Bay, which is a fishing village, which is also in St. John at College Savannah on the East Coast. So I'm looking back up the road now. I will start with the cemetery first. This is the road this is the pathway that was paved the other day so that persons can get to the cemetery, the pathway to the cemetery here. So I'm at College Savannah in St. John. Over here is the other side of St. John with Codrington College, Holy Cross Church, and in that area. This is all a part of St. Mark's Churchyard. St. Mark's Church Cemetery. So again, I'm to the east of the island in the parish of St. John. This part of St. John borders St. Philip. This part of St. John is on the St. Philip border. We are close to St. Philip. Even though this is St. John, this is on the border of St. Philip with Forty School and Blaze Hill. So this is all St. Mark's Church Cemetery. A part of it. I don't know anybody that is buried here, so I can't say such and such a person is laid to rest in here because I don't know anyone that is laid to rest in here. I just came to show you guys a little scenic little point here in Barbados. Let's get moving now. We will get more better views from the church looking across here than from here itself. So the east coast is down here, Concept Bay. This guys all headed to St. Mark's Church now. Last week the Ministry of Transport and Works was paving down here last week Friday. I don't know for what reason. What's the reason for it? So back here is Forty School St. Philip. It's back here. So St. Philip is back around the corner here with Forty School. And this is the pathway to St. Mark's Church, which should be giving stunning views of the East Coast. You can see the views already. St. Mark's Church is situated on a hill. This is the East Coast here. So not just part of the East Coast you can see. From here you can see almost the whole East Coast. The whole East Coast you can see. Like I said before, most of the scenic lookout points in Barbados are to the eastern side of the island. Whether it be St. Andrew, St. Joseph, St. John, or even a bit of St. Philip. This is the church hall here. The church center. It says, this stone was laid by the Reverend Canon William Bentley Brathwaite on the 2nd of March 1975. He was the priest here at St. Mark from 1950 to 1970. It says here, this building was dedicated by Drexel Gomez, the Bishop of Barbados, Drexel Wellington Gomez, on the 26th of June 1976. It says the renovation of this church hall was made possible through the combined efforts of St. Mark's congregation and the community, and it was rededicated as the Roy Thompson Memorial Center on this day, April 26, 2008, by the Lord Bishop, the Right Reverend Dr. John Walter Dunlop Holder, during the incumbency of the Reverend Ricardo Cortez Nurse. You can see some of the view over here already. You can see some of the view here already. Looking down here. Over here is back at the St. John, the Sealy Hall on College Land. You can see back over to Cottington College. So this is St. Mark's Anglican Church. You can see some of the East Coast here, southeasterly in St. Philip. So right behind here is St. Philip. Over here is St. Philip. So this is St. Philip right here. Behind this church wall here, behind this parish center here is St. Philip. All Forty School and College Savannah. College Savannah is behind here in St. John, and Forty School is over here. Forty School, St. Philip. I would more say that St. Mark's is in St. Philip more than it is in St. John. Due to the fact that the bus is not coming back up. I would say that St. Mark's is mostly in St. Philip more than it is in St. John, due to the fact that it is surrounded by St. Philip. The school is in St. Philip. St. Mark's Primary School is in St. Philip at Blaze Hill. It's just down the road here. And St. Mark's is surrounded by Forty School and Blaze Hill. But this is in St. John. Now to the church. St. Mark's Anglican Church was built between 1833. It was built in 1833, sorry. It was a chapel of ease to that of St. John Parish Church. So this is another country church here to the eastern side of the island. Here's some more of the graveyard here. St. Mark's Church. Here at College Savannah, St. John. This is the bell tower here, the belfry. The bell is up in here. It says this bell tower was partially refurbished through the contributions from the family of the late Vida E. McCarthy. This is the rope for the bell. And the bell tower here. So the bell is up to here. So people, let's come here and take in this lovely view. This is the place to come in and take in this lovely view of the East Coast. So right now we are looking straight into Concept Bay, which is in St. John. Also on the East Coast, Concept Bay in St. John. You can see this sargassum seaweed in the beach, in the water. Concept Bay is a fishing village, and it is a part of the East Coast, and it is in College Savannah, St. John. They also have a fish market there. You can go and catch fish there. You can see straight across the Bath Beach, which is also in St. John, also on the East Coast. You can see across the Bath Beach. You can see across the Martins Bay and Glen Burnie in St. John. You can see all into St. Joseph and St. Andrew as well, which is northeasterly across here. So you can see this is northeasterly with St. John, St. Joseph, and St. Andrew. You can even see all across the further north of the island at Pico Tenerife, which is in St. Lucie. See all the fishing boats here in the sea. And this is College Savannah, St. John. So look back at St. Mark's Anglican Church. I always wonder why they refurbished the church in this ugly fashion. This church used to be a beautiful looking church. Now it is ugly with this monstrosity looking thing they have here. Wait, this church get rebuilt about 2021 or so. No, 2020, 2019, 2020, sometime around COVID, 2019, 2020. To be honest, I don't like how it looks. I don't like how it looks. It doesn't look good at all. They used to have, and they took down all the columns inside the church and so on. I don't like how it looks, that's the truth. This can lead you down to College Savannah. It says the vestry was consecrated on the 25th of April 1972. So this is a view similar to that of St. John Parish Church. This is the back of the church now. College Savannah, St. John, and all the East Coast here. So this is Concept Bay. As I said before, you can see the sargassum seaweed in the water. So these views here are almost as stunning as that of St. John Parish Church. Most of these Anglican churches in St. John are perched on top of a hillside. Behind here now is St. Philip. St. Philip is behind here. Before the school, you can see all across to the East Point Lighthouse, known as the Ragged Point Lighthouse. But here, the lighthouse over here is the Keats Bay. And you can see Culpeper Island. Culpeper is a little dot off of Barbados' shores. It is not an island as in like how St. Vincent has the Grenadine Islands, like Bequia and Canoan and then islands. And Grenada got the Petit Martinique and Carriacou. And Antigua got Barbuda and Trinidad got Tobago. But it's a little dot, a little rock off of Barbados that is referred to by many as Pelican Island or Pelican Village. I mean Pelican. They had a Pelican Island too. I mean Culpeper Island. Culpeper Island is just off of St. Philip. Culpeper Island is in St. Philip, off of St. Philip. And Culpeper, people do fishing out there. This is the beautiful country church. You can see over the St. Philip, you can see over the St. Catherine's Church, the church I showed you the other day. St. Catherine is supposed to be the small church of St. Mark's, but to me St. Mark's is St. Catherine's is supposed to be the chapel to St. Mark's, but to me, see the plane passing. But to me, St. Mark's is more. St. has more size than St. Mark's. St. Mark's only a lot big so, but it is not all that big. I see the plane passing over. Here it's peaceful and quiet as always. St. Catherine's and St. Philip. And the East Point Lighthouse, known as the Ragged Point Lighthouse. You see all across the Skeets Bay in St. Philip, which is also on the East Coast. So this is southeastern, you know. You can see right around the San Lars Castle and the Queen Beach and southeastern. Graveyard here. Like I said before, I don't know anybody that is buried here. I know the wife of one of our national heroes, Sir Frank Walcott. Sir Frank Walcott, Lady Pauline Walcott, was laid to rest here the other day. But I don't know anybody that is laid to rest here. I don't have family in this area or anything. I don't know anybody that is buried here. Looking back at St. Mark's Church. So, thank you guys for watching now. And do have a blessed and a wonderful evening.